Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper are apparently
Oh my
together.
God. Yeah, okay. How did they meet?
I mean,
How
I
did
guess when
they
you're that
meet?
famous, go to like the Met Gala and you're like, oh, you look
Yeah,
so
And they all go on
true.
big boats together, don't they?
It'll be like here where people go to the ship and they're like, oh, he's fit. This is like, they go to the Met Gala and they're like, oh,
shit.
he's
Pear Tree Cafe.
I'm ready.
cool.
I'm a bit
Hey,
bored now.
what is this?
Guys, we're back.
I was expecting you to rap or something. I don't know why.
Is it episode 19 or 20?
I don't know.
Oh my God, is
I
it
know.
No, it's more than that now.
No, we're nearly there. I think I think it could be 20
Oh
or
my
19.
God. Guys, that's gone quick.
That is that's very exciting. Well, for those who are listening who don't know who's here, we're joined by Hattie for a very special episode. This entire episode is sponsored by Tinder.
Can you believe it?
How sick is that? But yeah, it's super exciting. We've got an expert coming on later. I almost don't want to spoil it. Maybe wait and see, but he's really
so excited.
sick. Like, we are obsessed with him.
And answering all your dilemmas that you sent us.
Exactly. And then the rest of the episode, we're going to talk about all the usual things we talk about, like the hot list. And also, we're going to do our horoscopes again this month. I feel like we've done, the three of us have
Yeah,
done them
we
together before,
have.
haven't we? But this time, we're also going to be looking at the matches. So, like, friendship matches, dating matches. So,
Depending on our star sign.
yeah.
Okay.
So, stay tuned for that. Yeah, what's everyone been up to?
Yeah, Satney, you've just had your birthday.
Oh my God, yeah, I
did.
haven't asked because
Oh
I
my
wanted
God.
to save
Yeah,
chat
no.
for this. So
It was really good. I was saying earlier, like, I think after you pass 25, it's kind of like a little bit less pressure to do like huge things. And I felt like because I had no pressure to do anything, it was really fun. Like every day I had something fun planned. Really was stretching out that birthday.
oh yeah, you
Few
have
days.
to. You have to have at least a birth week.
Yeah,
in my
100%.
opinion.
But it was really nice. The main highlight was I went to Mahalia. I've spoken about her so much on this podcast, but she is like my favourite artist. And we went to her concert and she brought out Stormzy.
So good.
When I
is
saw
sick.
that, I was so jealous.
I know.
Honestly, I was just not expecting it because it was at the Hammersmith Apollo. Not that that's like a small venue, but like smallish. Brought Stormzy, JoJo, as in like it's just a little too late.
Really?
Yeah, because she's got a song with her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Koj Radical, who's like so
love
sick.
So what did
Kojak.
Stormzy play?
Amazing live.
So they have a song together on her newest album. So they sang that together.
I've not heard that. I need
You
to
would
listen
love
to
it.
that.
And also, it's not like a rap song, like he's singing, and I love when Stormzy sings.
But do you know, yeah, did you watch him on Louis Theroux's documentary? So,
No.
oh my goodness,
No.
what? Louis Theroux did an interview with him.
Yeah.
So they were sat in Stormzy's home, and Louis sat down for like a all-exclusive, just everything on his life and family and his relationships, blah, blah, blah. And what came from it was he was saying, you know, I think when I started, I was, you know, grime rap, but now I've sort of come on this journey where I'm not that his music was angry, but he was telling a story back then, and a lot of his lyrics were quite like, they exposed a lot of his childhood, the way he was brought up, all of that, and now he was like, I'm almost at peace with my life, so my music is just a bit more soul and a bit more, it's less of this rap, and he was like. And Louis Theroux said something like, do you think that upsets your fans? And he was like, look, I don't care. Like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But his music, I think, has got so much.
Some of my favourite Stormzy songs are where he's singing, like Lessons, like that album where like
So
when he broke up with
good.
Maya Jama and now like that album. His best work. Speaking of Maya Jama and Stormzy, I mean we might as well get right into the hot list at this
let's go
point.
for it.
For our Tinder special, we're going to be speaking a lot about dating, celeb dating, drama, breakups, get-togethers. But this is a very big one, especially this year. So obviously they broke up. I don't remember when now, a while ago.
Yeah, because she was engaged.
Too?
A footballer. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
And
No,
then
I
she
didn't know
called
that.
off. She called it off.
I know
I
who
think
it
it was
was
a
either.
footballer. Was it basketball
Ben
player?
Simmons?
Yes. Yeah.
No way.
And I always had this feeling inside me like, oh yes, come on.
Yeah.
Just
We
It
all
was meant to
knew.
be.
Yeah.
But
And he, in this documentary with Louis Theroux, he was talking about how he's building this family home in London. And he's like, that's going to be where I'm going to have Christmas with my wife and my kids. And I was just like, please, Maya, if you're watching this, that is for you.
That is so sweet. Well, yeah, now obviously we know they've got back together. They've
Yeah.
hard launched now, like properly hard launched. And it's honestly like healed the world, I think.
yeah, I love
Everyone's
how
so
much
happy.
everyone else loves
Yeah.
it. Like when we first saw they were back together, I feel like the whole world was excited.
That photo is my Roman Empire
Yeah.
of them. Did you see when she came back from the airport and he picked her up?
Yes, with the sign.
And he made a sign that said like,
He's so boyfriend.
like, welcome home. And she was like, put it down.
I love them.
that kind of
though.
makes it better though.
He's been on such a journey. I feel like he was immature and he made a mistake. And I think from that he has grown and he realised like you don't know what it's got till it's gone.
Exactly. And I think that's like a thing though. A lot of people, I mean, I think 9.5 times out of 10, if you cheat, that's it. That's it done. But sometimes it does prove that like space
Yeah.
brings you back together. And
Yeah.
Because has
Go
he
back to
had
that.
relationships after her?
Not that I didn't
Not in the
hear of
public
any of
eye.
them, to be honest.
But you have to watch his documentary. with
Oh,
Louis Theroux.
yeah, I will. That
So
sounds
yeah, that
good.
was, I think, of 2023, that was the best relationship
To come,
Oh, to
yeah.
come back
yeah.
together.
One that I've seen recently, like the last few weeks, is Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper apparently
Oh
together.
my god. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
He's hot though.
He is.
He is, but it's like a bit random. She's going for like
it
dads
feels,
these days.
yeah, like very random. Like, how did they
Yeah.
meet?
I mean,
How
I
did
guess when
they
you're that
meet?
famous, everyone's
Just
like in the
everyone
same
knows
circles.
everyone.
You go to like the Met Gala and you're like, oh, you look
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all go on
true.
big boats together, don't they?
It'll be
Love
like
yachts.
here where people go to the ship and they're like, oh, he's fit. This is like, they go to the Met
they're
Gala and like,
on
oh,
a ship.
he's fit.
Petri Cafe.
People who don't live in London are gonna be like, what are you on about? It's basically like the places everyone goes to find people or like goes like with friends, but
Yeah.
like really everyone's going to hook up with people. But yeah, I find that one weird.
And also, isn't it quite a big age gap? Not that
Yeah.
usually counts for anything, but I'm just quite surprised
Yeah.
by. Although I guess like she's got a baby. She's,
yeah,
you
she
know,
maybe wants someone a bit more
she's
mature.
probably very mature for her age.
Yeah. I don't know. They look great together too.
Oh
to
my
be
god,
fair.
yeah, what a gorgeous couple.
Gigi obviously has a bit of a thing for older guys with Leo.
Yes.
Yeah, forgot about that.
But is this just an era of hers? Like, is
Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess we never call out. Well, we do actually. We do call out the guys who date for very young girls, but like that's never really
Yeah,
like. And
that's
now,
so true.
I guess this is just the other way of it, isn't
Yeah.
it? But I want to see what happens with that. I feel like she's in her like dating era, like
Yeah,
properly.
I'm quite into that for her.
Yeah,
I feel
me
like we've
too.
not really seen her do that yet.
No. Another one I saw, or I think Sherry was telling me about this, and it's so random. But you know, Khalees, is it Khalees? You know, my milkshake
Yeah,
brings
the
all the boys.
boys to the
He's dating
yard.
Bill Murray. Do you know Bill Murray?
Yeah.
Like he's really old. He's an actor. He's in like iconic movies like Space Jam,
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. Like everyone, you know his face. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a very famous actor. But yeah, weird.
Random.
Also, side note on just like content creators, influencers, who saw Grace Beverly got engaged?
oh my god, yes.
Grace Beverly. Oh my god, I thought you meant J.K. Barry, and I was like, no, she didn't. What?
Grace Beverly got engaged.
Oh,
And
sweet.
she did a TikTok like explaining the whole engagement.
Yeah, oh my god, I was living for all of this.
I feel like it's something Ryan would do really well.
Really? Wait, tell me
Okay,
the story.
so
I wanna hear it.
basically, so she had this press trip.
like weekend.
Was it
yeah.
Armani Beauty?
It was a beauty brand.
I think it was Armani. Yeah, anyway,
yeah.
so she had literally, so the boyfriend worked with the brand to make up this whole fake press trip.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like
None of
Tommy
it
and
was
Molly.
real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he did the invitations, he did absolutely everything. But she was like, I can sniff a rat. Because she had an inkling that this just couldn't be
Right.
right. This wasn't a press trip, that he might be proposing. So she literally explored every avenue, and every time he had covered his tracks. Like it
Yeah,
was
so
to the extent that
carefully.
was just wild.
Yeah,
my
but
goodness.
the reason that I think she suspected was because usually she asks if she can have a +1, and she asked, and I guess it's her manager who was like, helping organise the trip or talk to the brand,
Yeah.
was like, oh, don't worry, I assumed you'd want to take him,
Oh,
and she was like, oh,
that's
well, I
giving it
did,
away.
but,
Yeah.
like, why didn't you ask me that?
Yeah.
And then she was like, maybe something's gonna happen.
Oh.
But yeah, he'd like planned everything.
To literally and also that was it. She said, I just thought he'd be making, if it was going to happen, he'd be stressing about his luggage and stuff. And apparently he was so chill,
Yeah.
literally
Aw.
just so. And then she was just like, what on earth? Like,
But actually, though, what do people do when they're like going to propose to someone and they're going on holiday and they've got the ring in their like bag? What if
Yeah.
they take it out of the bag and they're like, "What's this?"
But-
Just propose in the baggage claim.
Yeah.
hands off to him.
Oh, it's okay. I can just do it here. This was the plan the whole time. Can you imagine that being your story? Like, how did you guys get engaged? Well, really great story.
The bus went off through security.
Oh my god.
So most shocking breakups of the year, or just of the whole whole era.
I was thinking about this the other day. The one that like hit me the most probably was Miley and Liam. And I don't know why, because they were quite like treacherous. They were on and off.
Yeah. I think it just probably was the biggest one, like, when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like, for our sort of, like, generation.
Yeah.
They were so iconic. Like, Miley is still such an icon, but I don't know, she felt closer in age to us at
Yes.
the time.
Yeah, even though she isn't
I mean,
really.
no, but it seems like, oh, like, we'll be her age soon.
yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like she was that much
No,
older.
neither.
Another one that was so shocking this year was Joshua Jackson and Jodie Turner-Smith getting
That was
divorced.
all over social.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
I
over
feel
my
like everyone was
TikTok.
talking about it because they'd been married for about 4 years, right? They had a
Right,
child
yeah.
together. And he was in Dawson's Creek.
Yeah,
What
throwback.
a throwback. she has the most insane Met Gala
Yeah.
look. Do you remember her Met Gala looks?
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I feel like everyone was so surprised by that. Like
Yeah.
they seemed really solid and like a really cute couple. So that really shocked me.
just
this
proves
year.
you never know what's going on behind
No,
the scenes.
so true.
TikTok one
Yeah.
that was it's very, very recent. Charlie D'Amelio and Landon Barker.
They've not broken up.
Yes, they have, supposedly.
Shut up.
Yes, on her birthday to the Bahamas.
Oh, great.
Wait,
Which they put was on the show. So and apparently she was like, it's not all it seems. Like it obviously looked like an amazing birthday, but Landon broke up with her. Yeah, because
On holiday?
Yes, on holiday because he said that she can't deal with his anxiety, and they argue all the
that's
time.
really sad.
It's, and they're so young as well.
Yeah.
I feel
How
like-
old are they?
No,
They're
they're
like
like
20.
20,
yeah.
It must be so hard
that
when
is
your
hard.
relationship is just straight, like from the get-go in the public eye.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But also, there's been so much like scandal with all of those TikTok relationships. Which I feel like if you were
Yeah,
at
that's
school,
true.
it would happen anyway. But because they're in the public eye, it's
Yeah.
like, also an interesting topic we were talking about the other day is co-stars
Oh
that
my
have dated
God, yeah.
on
I
screen.
live for this.
I live for it as well. There are so many.
I
Like,
don't know what
obviously,
it is.
there's
It must be so hard not to, though. I'm sorry. If you're single,
Yeah,
know, when
and
you're in those
especially if your characters are together.
Yeah.
and you're doing scenes where you're a couple.
No, exactly.
I don't know. I feel like lines get blurred.
Yes,
100%. Especially back in the day, I think it was so much more common. Like I'm watching Gossip
Yeah.
Girl now, and I'm like, of course,
Yeah.
Dan and Serena got together in real life.
my favourite though is Zendaya and Tom
Yeah,
Holland.
me too.
Oh,
That was
I
like
did love
everyone was
that.
rooting
He
for that.
worships the ground
Yeah.
she walks on.
He really does.
They are so.
He
cute.
is just. He's the full package.
Yeah.
And his story's amazing because he got scouted at a school
Did
like a
he?
school
Yeah.
Christmas play.
And he was then Billy Elliot.
Yeah.
On
Started as
not
Billy
Broadway.
Elliot.
God,
on
can
West
you
End.
imagine just in like your school nativity? and-
Exactly. He got scouted for Billy, and
Spider-Man.
then from Billy he did the tsunami film,
Oh yeah.
and then just catapulted.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Wow.
And he like manifested it.
Did
Someone when he was someone interviewed him for I guess that film. They were like, "What's like one role you'd love to do in the future?" Like he literally was nobody at this time. He was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'd quite like to be Spider-Man."
And he was
Oh my god! I love that
and
for
also he
him.
said his celebrity crush was Zendaya. He manifested
Yes!
that as
Oh yeah, I
well.
saw all those videos. It's so cute.
They are amazing.
They are.
You can just tell they're so in love.
And you can
if
tell
they
they're
break
good
up,
people as
I
well.
don't think I'll be able to cope.
No,
with
that's
No.
one breakup I will not like. That's
Get
not
over,
okay.
no.
I'll personally write them an email or something. Like I wouldn't be able to deal with it. Do either of you watch Riverdale?
No.
But do you know Cole Sprouse
Yeah.
and his castmate were together?
Yeah.
That was like drama as well.
Yeah.
But I just thought like even though they'd broken up, I think some shows they steer the storyline so they don't
Yeah,
really have
you
to be in
don't have to
scenes
stay
together,
together.
or it's not. They really didn't do that. They really lent into them being together forever on the
Really?
show. It was
Well, that's
really
a bit
weird.
like. Did you watch Vampire Diaries?
Yes.
No.
Nina Dobrev and Ian
Ian
Somerhalder. Oh my
Somerhalder,
god,
yeah.
they're like my favorite ever. Their chemistry was like
Yeah.
honestly insane. They won a People's Choice Award. I
Yeah.
think.
really?
back
And
in
then
the
they
noughties
kissed on
for their
the
chemistry.
stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like major.
yeah.
Okay, what about pandemic skip?
Oh yeah.
You
You heard
explained
of
this to me earlier, and this I didn't know this was what it was called because I was honestly talking to my friends about it on the weekend because it was just my birthday, and I
Yeah.
was like, I just feel like I've lost a few years of my life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so the pandemic skip was written by The Cut.
Yeah.
An article went out, and Shameless Podcast, shout out to those guys. They actually were talking about it on their podcast.
Yeah, they're chatting.
And it's basically saying that we were ultimately robbed of 2 to 3 years of our life during the pandemic. And the more I sort of read into it and thought about it, I was like, I can so resonate with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But I do think it's worse for potentially the people that were at university because we can go
Yeah.
on to that. But how old were you guys when we entered the pandemic? I think I was 22.
I was
I would have been the same age as
24.
you.
Well, they're saying our bodies are that age, but our
Developmentally,
developmental
we've not
age.
caught up.
Exactly.
with our body.
I totally agree with that, but also feel, thank God I wasn't going into university because I feel
Yeah.
Yeah, that
those
must have been
years
so
were the years
hard.
I was discovering myself. I made
Yeah.
all my friendships, my deepest friendships and
Yeah.
relationships. So
Everyone had to start uni on Zoom. Like, imagine not being able to mingle
that
with
would've
people
been
going
weird.
on Freshers' Weeks.
but
Like,
that experience, to have lost that, to have
Yeah.
been robbed of
Yeah,
that
that's
experience, I think is
major.
horrible. And I think that will massively have an effect on your relationships and your friendships.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, I feel like your 20s, especially your early 20s, are for just discovering what you want to do in life. And not, I feel like we don't get let off for messing about, but these are the years to have a
Like,
bit of
fuck
fun,
up.
go a bit
Yeah.
wild, kind of just
Agreed.
work out what you want to do, and to not have that, and to then suddenly be 25, 26, 27,
Yeah.
where we think there might be pressures then to your friends are getting engaged,
Yeah.
friends are having babies, like you just
you're like, what? I'm not ready for
hang
that.
on, yeah.
So I think they say in that article that there is like a science behind if you're doing the same thing every day, then time moves slower because you don't have anything big to like I don't know,
Signpost
mark,
almost,
the months that ago, like,
or you might have a holidays you look forward to, or you're going traveling, monumental parts of your life that shape who you are. There was
you're
none
not
of that.
experiencing it.
Sure.
I think there'll be
It's
future
really-
studies on this though.
100%. In 10 years, they'll be like, remember that? It'll be like the Roman Empire.
It'll be it'll be a 30-mark question in your in your
100%.
AQA exam
Pandemic
paper.
skip.
Oh, also something I've seen. Have you guys seen the Kendall Jenner Billie AI?
Oh my god!
I was
This
showing-
is.
yeah.
I'm sorry. This is really.
It's
really
not
kind of
okay.
creeping me out.
We talk about AI all the time and just how it's like taking over, but this is like a new level
This
because
is
I watched the
weird.
video. So basically, for those who don't
Explain,
know,
yeah.
it's an AI chatbot. It looks and sounds exactly like Kendall Jenner, and I thought,
Yeah.
she's done it with this company to like record it. It's not. It's done
bizarre.
without her.
But she's had to basically like sign away the rights to her likeness and voice. So like I think she's signed away like 3 years or something. So for 3 years, the company who's like doing the Instagram account can like have the rights to use her.
That's crazy.
Like
This is
her
literally
face,
Black
basically,
Mirror.
and her
This is what
voice.
happened in Black Mirror. Did you watch
Yeah.
that episode
Weird.
where like you sign like a TNC?
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
it is
they
like
get
that.
to just take your whole likeness and everything.
It's so weird.
But I just think it's a bit strange forming these like connections with
Yeah.
people that
People.
aren't real.
Technology.
Yeah, we spoke about that with the Snapchat thing because there's an AI bot on there that people can talk to. Remember? And
yeah.
I just
Thought
think
about
it's
that.
really strange.
Like confiding in a robot. It's
Yeah,
just-
I think it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But have you seen a school has done it for their new headmistress? They've created one for
So
a
you
head.
can like go and talk to the headmistress.
Or I guess it's all online.
not
But it's
really
it's
them.
the new headmistress for the school.
That's not okay.
But they're going to be no real
So
people.
yeah,
weird.
and also it's about emotional connection more than
Yeah.
just like answers, right?
I think it's quite worrying.
I feel like as humanity, we just like have to hold on to it as much as we can.
Yeah.
Like we can't get like sucked into it.
On another note, Matilda Djerf's deleted her TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and bobs. Does anyone know the full story?
Yeah, well, I feel quite strongly about this.
Do you?
And actually,
Okay, I'm
I'm
interested.
I feel very strongly about female entrepreneurs and how people are so quick to try and
Yeah.
cancel
Yeah.
them.
So
Agree.
just explain.
Yeah. Okay, to explain. So
What
there were
happened?
lots of third-party companies that were duping, in effect, her prints. So she was trying to get the prints trademarked and patented. So she hired a third-party company that then decided, which was the wrong technique, I think. They went after creators that were wearing these dupes.
Yeah.
And then taking down their content or
Like
even
reporting their
suspending their
accounts and
accounts.
Rather than going to the actual brands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rather than going to these third-party sellers
Right.
that sell the products. So then she had to do a statement being like, we're really sorry, we're going to reach out to these creators and try and work on getting their accounts back. But ultimately, it's also come out that she didn't create these prints. These style of prints have been around.
Yeah.
And she hasn't created the Scandi aesthetic. She's just,
Yeah,
we buy
she's
into
leaning
that.
into
We
it.
buy
Yeah.
into her.
She's just the first like popular Scandi.
Yeah,
girl. Like, there's
And
been
like,
that fashion.
good
and
on
that
her.
stuff.
She's
Yeah.
created a brand that people are investing in, not just the products, but the actual vibe of
Yeah.
her and
It's like a lifestyle, isn't it,
Exactly.
what she sells?
but I just think they're so quick. Matilda Djerf's cancelled. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, because that's what I saw. I thought she'd done something very
Yeah.
wrong, but
Yeah.
now it's, when
And
you've explained
people
that,
are like,
it's
I don't
not
know if
actually
she'll even come back from this, which I think is sad because you look at, for example, Ben Francis, founder of Gymshark.
Yeah.
There was so much shit that he did that he
Yeah.
got filmed doing, and yet that's all we
Yeah.
just like brush over that because
Right.
he's a male and he
Yeah.
I just think for female entrepreneurs, people are so quick
so
to
much
try and-
harder on them.
'cause,
Yeah.
and like I don't know. I think fair. She's trying to patent her product.
Yeah.
It's her brand.
Yeah.
If people are going to knock it off, then
Yeah.
I would do the exact same. So it's difficult because something's happened with the creators.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if that hadn't happened,
It would be more
then
straightforward.
yeah,
wouldn't it?
it would be so much easier to understand. But also, are we not allowed to just let her have a mistake?
Exactly.
She's 22.
Like she's still
23?
learning how.
Yeah.
Like she's so young to own such a successful business. Obviously, at some point, like someone's gonna make a mistake. Someone on your team makes a mistake. That doesn't mean we cancel that person. There's also
Yeah.
a difference between Matilda Djerf and her
Djerf
brand.
Avenue,
yeah.
Like that doesn't
agree.
mean that she's personally responsible. Well, in my opinion,
Yeah.
some people might disagree.
And she's
but
so young. Like imagine, all that hate, all the abuse she then got.
Yeah.
The fact she felt like she had to delete her TikTok.
yeah.
Something she'd spent years building.
And I think at least she's apologised and said, okay, we understand now that this wasn't the right thing to do. This is what we're going to do
Yeah.
instead. Is that not how we learn? how to-
Exactly. You've got to let people like show that they've moved, like that
Yeah,
they're doing something
growing.
about it. Otherwise, what is the point of just cancelling someone, like especially with something like that,
Yeah.
without letting them do something about it?
Yeah.
So what we're loving.
Yes, things we're loving. What are you guys loving?
I have a fragrance to recommend. Sapna, I know you love a fragrance.
Oh, I do.
I actually got this in the Sherlock's beauty sale last week.
Did you?
Yeah, and I've been wearing it every day. I'm obsessed. It's actually a hair and body fragrance.
I know which
it's
one you're
not
going
a
to say.
perfume.
Flower.
Yeah, the Fleur Amber Haze. Oh my god, it's honestly amazing. And I wouldn't usually go for like a body fragrance over a perfume, but this is really like staying on me all day, I think.
Yeah, and these are
Me
like
too.
body sprays and hair,
Yeah.
so it's like a little bit lighter, so you can literally spray.
Yeah,
like those old
everywhere.
like Victoria's Secret ones. Yeah, you literally go. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, I would never think to get one now, but I'm
Yeah.
like totally converted.
Yeah.
And they're a bit cheaper if you don't want to get like
Exactly.
a perfume or whatever. They're about £20-30, I think.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm absolutely loving that.
Okay, what I'm loving, Colleen Rooney
Oh my god, I
Three-part
binged this
documentary.
yesterday.
on Disney Plus. I know. I actually text you at the weekend going,
Yeah,
"What's
yeah.
your Disney Plus login, please?
Oh,
Someone, I need to watch this."
It's so good, isn't it?
It's so good.
Can someone give? I don't know how I managed to just miss out on what
Oh.
this even was.
Wagatha Christie.
Yeah.
like
I
my
really
favourite
don't know
pop
much
culture
about-
scandal, like
Yeah.
maybe ever.
I think ever. Okay, basically,
bit of-
Colin Rooney had a private Instagram account that's for her like close family and friends. So she updates more regularly on her family and her kids, like does stories all the time, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Her day to day.
things she was putting up on this day-to-day Instagram account were suddenly she was noticing were going leaking into the sun. So she was like, "This is weird." Anyway, she did a classic girl, like, I'm gonna work out who this is.
Yeah.
So first of all went through all her followers, got rid of anyone she
Yeah.
thought like perhaps would be doing this. And then she had a suspicion that it was
Rebecca
Vardy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what she did is on her, you know how your story settings, you can change it to who sees it. So she took everyone out apart from Rebecca Vardy. And then
I just honestly think it's so smart.
That is so
But it's also
smart.
such a girl move.
Yeah.
such a girl move. Anyway, so then she started making up stories, things like they had a flood in her basement. She made up that she was going to Mexico to look at gender selection for her next child. But literally making up these stories,
Right.
and every time she put it up, she could see that the one person looking at it was Rebecca Vardy.
And she kept all her receipts. So you see it all in the documentary, like all the screenshots where it's like seen by one, Rebecca Vardy's account.
And wait, so all these things were going on online?
yeah.
So most of it was, so all the like fake stories were online, but then Rebecca was WhatsApping her directly and being like, oh, like at one point, Colleen gets rid of her, like deletes her off her followers and unfollows her. And Rebecca was like, just wanted to see like if I've offended you because like I've seen we're not following each other anymore. And Colleen was like, oh lol, like don't know how that's
Must have
happened.
been the kids. Yeah,
Like,
so she then
it.
decides she has enough evidence, so she drops this bombshell tweet, which I actually remember it being tweeted because it got
same.
millions of retweets tweets, and it was like, literally was
It's
like,
long.
all these stories have been sold to the Sun, blah blah blah. I now know who it is. ... Rebecca Vardy, and then it literally just blew up.
Everyone went crazy.
Anyway, it all went to court. It was a
Yeah.
bit of a circus for the public, but Rebecca Vardy went and then deleted all her WhatsApps.
Yeah.
So she erased
so it's like
any
deleted
evidence.
message.
Her
Exactly.
agent dropped her phone in the sea.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
supposedly. And then the other friend she'd been communicating with also lost her messages.
Yeah,
So
it
then
was-
there was no stable evidence.
Yeah.
But
It was
it's
so
so good.
interesting.
It's fascinating.
Okay, I'll
Also,
definitely
like,
watch
I
it.
mean, it was hilarious to follow in real life, but it does also like bring in the seriousness
Yeah.
of why it
Yeah.
actually was really upsetting her. And you see like her and Wayne's relationship. Like she was so young. If you liked the Beckham documentary, I feel like you'll love the first episode of this
'Cause he's
because
in
it
it,
looks
yeah.
at their like how they met when they were 16, and she was like getting papped at school and
Yeah, literally,
stuff.
she was
Like
being papped at
crazy.
school.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess back then, because there wasn't social media, there was a huge obsession with the wags
Yeah.
and the girlfriends of these footballers because
Yeah.
they were supposedly the luckiest girls.
Yeah.
You know, every girl's dream to marry a footballer.
so it is really interesting to see like how their relationship started and
Yeah.
So I can't believe they're still together. Well, there was a bit of a scandal.
yeah, which they talk about as well.
Yeah.
actually.
Really? What, cheating?
Supposedly. What are you loving right now, Sat?
I've just started a new show called Bodies, and I literally have just started it, so I can't say too much, but it's a really cool concept. It's basically a drama crime situation. It's one body in 4 different times. So 2050 something, 2023,
Ooh.
1940, and 18 something something. So like 4 different time periods, 4 detectives, but it's the same body. So we don't know how that's happened, but it's the exact same body. But it's
Ooh, I
really
like
interesting.
this.
On what?
Netflix.
Okay, is that
Yeah.
worth a watch?
Yeah, definitely. I'm only on episode 2, so I can't
Yeah.
say too much, but
That
I feel
sounds
like that's
really
enough
good.
of hooked there to give it a watch. Yeah, I really like it.
One extra thing I watched, very short, it's only about 30 minutes, but Miles Nazaire from In Chelsea has just done like an Untold on Channel 4. It's called Bigorexia, and it's basically him coming out saying how he was diagnosed with something called bigorexia. I mean, I wasn't shocked by it, because actually I could, just from my male friendships and male relationships, I saw traits of this being an issue in guys' lives, and them not knowing that it is an issue.
Yeah.
But basically, it's the same as what would be anorexia, but guys have an obsession with getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And all they do is think about, when are they next going to train? When are they next going to eat? And they're just obsessed, and they fixate. So you follow him going to see a psychiatrist, and they basically were diagnosing him. And they said, do you think about getting bigger or your physique more than an hour a day? And he was like, yeah, like the whole day. And they were, because to be classed as having bigorexia or body dysmorphia, you are thinking about it more than an hour a day.
Wow.
So it's just, I just think it's great for him to have done this, because I think,
Definitely raising awareness.
I think hopefully guys will watch it and be able to think, perhaps it's not just me thinking this, and I'm not going crazy, because it is actually an issue.
It's common.
And I'm sure a lot of people are doing this and don't even realise it's an issue.
Yeah,
because
probably.
of just,
We've normalised
I'm just going
it.
to the gym, I'm being healthy. But really there is like a line of when it's quite unhealthy.
Yeah, and I think social media makes it worse, because you've got these guys documenting, and perhaps they're not even doing it in a natural way. They're using steroids, and I think there's an expectation, as much as there is for girls and seeing, all these slim models on Instagram and these unachievable bodies. It's exact same for men, and it's just not researched enough, because not enough men are speaking out about this.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are probably suffering in silence.
Yeah.
Is it on Channel 4?
Channel 4, yeah.
Okay, so now we are going to do horoscopes. I love doing horoscopes.
Yeah,
Also,
me too.
It's about to be the beginning of a month, so it's a nice time to have a look. But yeah, so let's do Daisy first. Before I read your actual horoscope, your friendship matches are Cancers, Virgos, Capricorns, and Pisces, because they're caring, committed, and emotionally attuned to signs like Scorpios. So that's why.
Oh,
because
I love
you can
that.
trust them. And dating-wise, it's Cancers and other Scorpios. Oh, and Pisces.
Oh, Jack's Libra.
I'm a Libra.
But I do really believe that with my friendships, because I think
Okay.
a lot of my friendships are... Was Pisces in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read yours now. I can't really read out loud, so just give me a minute. With so much going on in various areas of life, it may seem impossible to quite finish anything properly. But now you'll have more freedom to spend quality time with the people you love, and although you might resist, deep down you'll understand that someone else knows what's best for you in a personal dynamic.
Oh, okay. Because it feels like such a busy time of year. I feel like,
Yeah.
right now I'm probably not prioritising quality time.
Yeah.
Because it's just so busy.
Yeah,
And I
it's
feel like
hard, I think.
I'm on the edge of burnout.
Oh,
no, but you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
that's good. That's a reminder that I just need to slow it down where I
Yeah.
can.
For
sure.
And actually I did do that this weekend. I just chilled out. I
That's
watched
so
so much
good.
TV. I didn't exercise, and I was like, I think my
Nice.
body needs this.
Yeah. You have to listen to your body, I think.
Yeah. Oh, last bit. Self-confidence is the key to progress in November, so do your best to see yourself as others do.
Oh, that's nice.
Gotta keep going.
Never give, what is it? Never back down, never what?
Never give up. So, Sapna, your dating compatibility with other signs is highest with Geminis, Aquarius, Leos, and Sagittariuses.
Mine's an Aquarius.
Oh, there we go. Because I don't know about dating your own star sign. For me, I think that would be a red flag.
It depends on which one it is, because some of them, like two fire signs together is not good, apparently.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, sexually, it is really good. So it depends.
Yeah.
Okay, friendships, Geminis and Aquariuses.
Oh,
Are lots of your
cute.
friends Geminis and Aquariuses?
Not really.
I'm very good at remembering my own star sign, but not other people.
Same.
Yeah, I know what you
Me
mean.
too. And I also only know the traits of mine and not
When
anyone
I
else.
find another Scorpio, I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
Your horoscope. So in early November, appearances can be deceptive. However, you'll be able to negotiate this and develop a powerful bond with someone special. Success requires you to employ your natural gift of diplomacy and avoid impatient reactions where possible. Around the 15th, make the most of winning someone's trust, especially as a unique person who genuinely wants to learn all about you. Also, you might meet someone new on the 15th.
Okay.
Give them the time of day.
Okay.
Meanwhile, it will become apparent that you will have an ally at work who is applauding your every move.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks,
Thanks, girls.
Never give up. And from the 25th, agreements with others will empower you beyond your wildest dreams.
Okay.
That's quite an exciting month.
exciting.
You've got lots of pinnacles. You've got
Yeah, lots of-
early,
yeah.
You've got early November. You've got the middle of November. Okay, Hattie, what are you?
Taurus.
Yes, you're a Taurus. So dating includes other Tauruses.
Oh.
Oh, so what we were
Cancers
saying
and
before
Virgos.
is...
I am dating a Virgo.
Ah.
And you know what? I attract so much Virgo energy in my life. And apparently, I did read once that, have you ever done your whole like astrological chart?
No, I need
So,
to.
get CoStar, the app. It's free, and you put in your date and time of birth, and then it gives you your full chart.
Oh, I have done this
And
actually.
apparently, you attract other signs that aren't in your chart as much. So I have no Virgo at all, and I have so many Virgos in my life.
Well,
I
that's
think that's the thing.
perhaps that is the case because
Opposites
Yeah.
November's mission is to follow your heart and choose your most authentic way forward.
Ooh.
Firstly, you need to identify exactly what this means at work and personally.
Interesting.
From the third, what seemed like a pipe dream may now become a feasible goal. You will also attract attention in unusual places with minimum effort.
Ooh,
However, your
love that for
biggest
me.
success depends on not giving away too much too soon.
Okay.
The 25th marks a new chapter of your personal life and shared dreams, and a new future is beckoning.
Oh my god! I mean, that's lovely for starting a new job, isn't it?
Yeah,
Great.
We were
That
just
feels a bit
yeah.
too apt. That's actually
because
scaring me.
this is your last podcast with us, which is
I'm
so,
so
sad. But you've
sad.
got so much.
Yeah,
know.
clearly,
forward
lots
to.
of positive
November.
stuff.
I'm
coming.
ready.
Well, check out the horoscopes on SheerLuxe.com because that's every month we do them. But yes, next up we've got a Q&A with Paul Brunson from Maths and Celebs Go Dating, which is very exciting. I'm a big fan. So we've got lots of questions for him about relationships and dilemmas, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we are here with Paul Brunson. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Great
to have you.
Great to have you on the
It's an honor to be here.
You may know him from Married at First Sight or Celebs Go Dating. He's also Tinder's relationship expert. So we're super excited to get these questions answered. And we put our questions out to you guys on relationship dilemmas, pretty much anything.
Some juicy bits in here.
Okay.
Yeah?
I like juicy.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I like juicy. Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll get straight into it.
All right, let's do it.
I get really overwhelmed when using dating apps and I'm not sure if I'm being too picky. How am I supposed to know who to reply to? Any tips for narrowing down the search?
Oh my God. How deep can we go on this one?
Whatever you
strapped
think.
in.
All right, we're strapped in. All right, yeah. Buckle up. All right. So a couple thoughts. Let's unpack it. So the first was I am very nervous.
Get really overwhelmed.
Get overwhelmed.
When using the dating apps.
All right. So this is everyone, right? And the reason why is because there's a lot of information on these dating apps, right? One of my favorite books, Barry Schwartz, he's the person who coined the phrase "less is more." And it's because we have so much presentation of options that we get this analysis paralysis, right? The next step, though, is to understand, okay, how do you reduce your choices? Whenever you're reducing your choices, you will find more value in the choice. For example, when my grandma was growing up, she grew up in Jamaica. All right, in the bush is what we call in Jamaica. Do you know how many options she had in terms of potential spouses? Guess.
I can't tell if you're saying a lot or not very many.
What do you think? The bush in Jamaica.
Maybe not that many.
She had 3.
Okay.
Right, and 2 of them were her cousins. It's like she had no options.
Yeah.
But because she had very few options, the weight in making the selection was higher. The value that she got out of it was higher. So the key is that you want to figure out how do you go show up to a place like a dating app, right? And then how do you reduce your options? So that begins with knowing exactly what it is that you're looking for. Right. And I think in Tinder, what we see all the time is that people show up. And the beauty with Tinder is that it is, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I'm going to take the Tinder hat off. My personal opinion is that it is the #1 dating app in the world to meet someone that is outside of your circle. And then once you're presented with all of these options, then to take everyone at face value. And I always say, look for the green flags opposed to the red flags. So what is it that you actually like about the profile? What is it that you like about what you see physically? And then what you want to do is then you want to, instead of moving right to Instagram, which everybody likes to do, stay on the app. And the reason why it's so important to stay on the app is because there are safety features that are built in to keep you protected. Right. It's very, very important. So stay on the app. Don't give up that personal information right away. And then you want to meet the person as quickly as possible, or at least have a phone call as quickly as possible. And the reason why is because once you hear the voice, already you get another dimension of who they are. And are you attracted to them or are you not? And then when you meet them, clearly, right, you see if you are attracted. But then also when you meet, don't make it an elaborate date. Because when you have elaborate dates all the time, you get fatigued. Everybody gets fatigued on the, and then also it becomes expensive.
Yeah.
Come on now. Look at how you guys are dressed. Thinking you're dressing like this every date? Like this is pricey. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you don't want to do all of that. So make it quick. Like, hey, we're just gonna get together for a little quick coffee, quick walk in the park, whatever it may be. So these are ways to reduce the fatigue, and these are ways to help you to not feel overwhelmed when you're on these dating apps.
Because there are some friends I have that are great at they'll match with someone and then straight away they'll book a date the next day.
Really?
And I rate that. I think
rate that.
get straight to it.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? The younger the Tinder user is, the quicker they are to just go straight at it.
Okay.
And I think that's because, and the research showed us in the Future Dating Report, is that basically Gen Z is like, look, we want authenticity. We don't want to play around. And what I love most about younger daters is this whole notion of physical attraction is very important, but what's more important is my feeling comfortable in your presence, right? If I feel comfortable in your presence, then all of these other things can open up. So when you're going back to the question, it's like, okay, think about all those things that are important to you. Does feeling comfortable in the person's presence, is that important? Like, think about all those things. And that way, when you show up, you're able to make better decisions.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, next one. Do you have any tips for those who've experienced heartbreak and are hesitant to re-enter the dating world?
Oh, man. I mean, we're all there.
Yeah. We've all been there.
I'm still scarred from year one. I remember she was beautiful. But yeah, like we all have got the heartbreak, you know? And one thing that we have to also understand, I think we should take a second and say, you know what? Heartbreak is not only real, but it is traumatic. Right? There's lots of research to show that, heartbreak is the equivalent to physical pain, right? To physically being assaulted, right? That's the heaviness of heartbreak. And then it's traumatic. And when you think about trauma is, what trauma does is it makes you see life differently. It's like you go through a traumatic experience, you now forever have lenses that you see life differently and you operate differently. So we shouldn't discount someone who's going through heartbreak. You know, a lot of people say, oh, well, just get over it. Like, oh, you'll be fine. Go. Like, no. It is traumatic. So the first place is that you have to figure out, how do you heal from that? And there's so many great resources for that. I mean, a quick one I'd say is Dr. Gabor Mate, he just wrote the book, The Myth of Normal. Like, read that. Like, and then he talks about how you have to be self-compassionate but the whole point is that you have to figure out, how can you go on this journey of healing and recognize that it is real, right? It is real. That's the first part. Mm-hmm. The second part is then what you want to do is you want to figure out, okay, how do you then like level up? Like, how do you start loving life, right? And not to go super nerdy, but let's go super nerdy for a second. When you think about, have you heard of Carol Riff?
No.
All right. You will love Dr. Carol Riff.
Okay.
All right. She is known mostly in psychology for creating what's called the 6 dimensions of psychological well-being.
Okay.
All right. It's a big title, but really all it means is that we all aspire to be our best self. Mm-hmm. And those 6 dimensions, things like autonomy.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to be controlled. Right? Personal growth. We all want to have personal growth, right? All these dimensions. And so ultimately, this is what we want out of life. When we're on the pathway of that, we are our best selves. We look the best, we sound the best, we're the most confident, we're the most attractive to other people and to ourselves. So after you get over the heartbreak and you heal from the trauma, then you move into the well-being.
Okay, next question. And I think this kind of ties in a little bit to what you were saying about the trauma, but I have a history of emotional trauma from previous relationships. It's affecting getting into new ones and trusting when dating. So I think trust is a big thing for this person. I find myself being critical and quite negative. How can I heal and move forward in a healthy way? I mean, very similar to what you were just talking about.
Yeah, very, very similar. I guess maybe the one thing we can unpack in that is that trust, as you pulled out.
Yes.
Yeah, which is important. Knowing that the person who's in front of you today is going to be the same person who shows up tomorrow. Right? Yeah. You trust in the consistency of the character, right? That's trust. So how do you identify trust in someone? How do you know if you can trust them? You must see them in action. Yeah. Life could be so hard. You know, you could lose a family member, you could lose a friend. Does the person still show up the same way? maybe they're winning. They get a new job, right? They graduate, they get whatever it may be. Are they still the same kind person? And so ultimately, that's how you determine trust. It takes time to determine trust.
Okay, we've got another one here.
Okay.
I've just had a first date with someone. It went really well, but haven't heard from them in over 24 hours.
Oh, no.
I really enjoyed the date, but not sure how to follow up. Or should I play it cool and wait for them to text first? What do I do?
You know, the playing it cool, it gets so many folks in trouble.
I hate
That's
it.
probably what they're doing as
I
well.
hate
They're trying
it.
to play it cool. You're trying to play it cool. No one speaks to each other ever again. That's what happens.
Yeah. And also, this is a big difference that we see between the US and the UK. Really? Like in the UK, more people try to play cool.
Yeah, I hate it. just
Rather
text
just see you
them.
at face, like just
Silly games
Yeah.
back and forth. Like, it's getting you nowhere.
Every time a friend does that, or they have this like, oh, I'm gonna wait 2 days. I'm like, just text them.
Life's
I
too
couldn't-
short.
Maybe it's like when you've been in a relationship for a while and you then become single. You're like, I know what I want, so I'm not gonna like fuck around. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna get into
perhaps.
it. But maybe like if you've been single for a while, it's like you're still okay to play the game a bit. I don't know.
Can I say I loved everything you guys? You just answered my question. You asked me the question and you just answered it. But no, you just said it. But you just picked up on the key. The reason why is that the higher self-esteem you have, the higher value you have in yourself and your time, you're not going to waste time.
Yeah.
You're like, look, I'm bad. Like I'm like you're going to turn. You're not going to respond to me. You know what I mean? So when you walk in with that belief of knowing that you are. There is no one on the planet like you. There will never be anyone that walks this earth like you, right? Think about that. That's how special you are. When you know that, you're going to message them.
I would like to say
Beat them
that as
to
a little
it.
voice memo. There is no one on the planet like you.
There's no one.
I love that.
There's no one.
Yeah.
And guess what? No one ever has been like you. Think about that. Like, we are truly extraordinary. Yeah. We're truly unique. And so know that. Know and value yourself. So yeah, message them.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. How do you know when it's time to make a relationship official or exclusive when dating? When's the right time to take that next step?
This is hard.
This is hard. This is hard. All right. Now, if I were like to technically break it down, I would say that you need to have trust. That's one thing that you need to have. Second is you need to have friendship, which is, you need to feel like you enjoy their time, they enjoy your time. And then you need to have intimacy, which isn't necessarily physical intimacy. It's emotional intimacy. Yeah. It's, you know that you could be fully vulnerable with them and they could be fully vulnerable with you. So if you have intimacy, right, you have friendship and you have trust. Like that's how you know when you have those three elements.
Okay, so I really relate to this one. If I was single, I'm an introvert and I struggle to push myself to go out on dates. Once I'm there, I struggle with making conversation. I hate small talk. Me too. Any advice on this?
All right. Yes. All right. So first is, let's even go back. You're an introvert, right? So one is there's a big difference between introversion and being shy. All right. Introversion and extroversion is just where you sense your energy. Yeah. And the best way to determine the two is if you think about like before you come on a podcast, right? Do you rather have alone time or time with other people, right? It's where you source your energy. If you need to be around other people to get juiced up, to get the battery up, you're extrovert. If you like to be alone before you come out to do your thing, then that means you are an introvert. Right. Now, once you go out and do your thing, if you are reserved and pull back, that means you're shy. So there's a difference between being shy and being introverted or extroverted. So that's one to know. Secondly is that a lot of people who are shy or reserved don't perform or don't feel like they're performing well on these dating apps, right? But this is why dating apps, in particular like Tinder, like this new feature that we rolled out, Matchmaker.
Yeah.
Come on, man, this is hot.
It's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
This is hot. Like, so I was a matchmaker for over a decade, right, in the United States. And one of the things that we did, I feel like, man, Tinder basically like just did what we did a lot better, is we used to interview the friends and family of our clients.
Oh, brilliant. Really?
Yes.
Really
And the reason why is because we all have, this thing, cognitive dissonance. We don't know who we really are. Yeah. We don't, whenever we see someone, maybe it's just, physically, we love them, so we're infatuated and it blinds us. Like we have all these blind spots, but our friends and family, our true friends and family, right? They know us best.
Yeah.
And whenever we can get a collective input from our friends and family, it is typically always in our best interest. So a feature like Matchmaker is brilliant because you get the feedback from your friends and family to determine, is this is this someone that I should be seeing, right? So for someone who is reserved, a feature like Matchmaker is brilliant. So the next is like use the features. And then last, you know what the best thing to do for increasing small talk? You know what the best thing you could do? Start a podcast.
Well, halfway there.
There we go.
Yeah. It's like the more you do it,
Yeah.
the better you become.
Yeah,
So it's about having more conversations, like in short.
For sure. I know I say to everyone when I'm like going to an event, I hate small talk. I can't do small talk. But genuinely, I think I have got better at it because we talk so much on this. But that's so true.
Okay, this is a biggie, but I feel like a lot of people will have this dilemma.
So many people I know, yeah.
Okay, I've been in a relationship since I was 15 and I'm now 24.
Okay.
We both adore each other, but I feel like I've never really experienced dating as a young person as we've been together for so long. I'm not unhappy in my relationship, but I often think, is the grass greener? I can't imagine not being together. Our families are so close. We share the same friends, but I can't help but think, but maybe this is the reason we're still together. Any advice?
Oh my God. This is so, This is such a good question.
Yeah.
Do we have 2 hours? All right. So okay. I always say that marriage or committed relationships should be very, very, very hard to get into, but separation should be very easy. You should be able to hit eject easily. And the reason why is because so many people get trapped in relationships, right? And a lot of people enter relationships quickly that shouldn't be. The second is that everyone goes through ebb and flow. So you go through ups and downs in your relationship. It's common to think about other things. And some people will say, oh, if you're thinking about something else, that means that it's time to go. No, right? This is what happens, right? I've been married for 20 years. I spent year 5 and year 7 on the couch because my wife was like, you're not coming. Like, so of course, like so there's ups and downs, right? Yeah. What you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to put any effort towards it working? As long as there's effort, there's interest. As long as there's interest, that means you have something. Are you and your partner saying that things are just not as spicy, not as good? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what
Is
you
the
hear?
grass greener? Yeah.
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 But then they can't imagine not being together.
Yeah. So what it sounds like she needs is to spice up the novelty, spice up the mystery, start doing new things together. Every Wednesday, we're going to do something brand new together. You pick this Wednesday, I'm going to pick next Wednesday.
That.
You know what I mean? My wife and I are learning French. We've always said we wanted to learn French. We're learning French, right?
that.
We just went to a pottery class together. I hate pottery, but we got our moment on. The pottery. It's new, it's fun, it's different, right?
Yeah.
Mystery, novelty increases desire. That's what it sounds like she needs.
I think that's great.
Agreed.
Great
That's
advice.
Okay, so what strategies can you suggest for finding or attracting people to date who are genuinely aligned with your long-term goals and values?
You have to know what it is that you're trying to get out of this world. And you have to identify that and then align your values and then know how to identify the partner that has that. And be willing to say, I have blind spots. And that's why I can rely on help. I'm going to use this matchmaker feature and have my friends and family check this out. Or I'm not going to rush into it. I know I've got to give it 2 years because I need to see if they show up, if they're going to be, the same person. Becoming better pickers, like better selectors, is important. And I'll kind of end it with this, is that I think and in particular, I think a lot of women say to themselves, well, people say I'm too picky. I say, you know what? The more selective you are, the higher quality of life you have. Remember that. The more selective you are means that you have you're building a fence. A fence is getting taller and taller and taller. And so anyone who now wants to be in a relationship with you, they got to leap over this big fence. But guess what? You need only a champion can leap over a big fence.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Only someone extraordinary. And you are extraordinary. So
Yeah.
you need someone extraordinary. So this is a good thing. You have a higher quality of life, the higher your standards are.
Great. Okay, well, final question. Help. I need advice for when you've been on a date and you're not keen on going on the second. I want to let them down easy without ghosting them because I've been on the receiving end of being ghosted and it's horrible. How do I do this in the best way?
Exactly how you presented that question. That was kind,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to go on it, right? Because I don't want, I don't want to ghost you. It is rude. I want to be kind, but I don't want to go on another date, right? So you say it just like that. Whether or not someone appreciates that, that's on them, right? Your role is not to manage their emotions. Yeah. Your role is to basically be as transparent as possible in the kindest way possible when you're in a situation like that. So that's exactly what you do.
Yeah. And I think that second part of what you said, in the kindest way possible, that is so true. Because I think some people think being truthful, you can just say what you want. And it's not about saying it and being blunt. It's just about saying it, but being honest, but being nice. Like, you know, there's a balance there, isn't there?
There's a balance.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Paul, thank you so much. I feel like you have...
Yeah, answered literally every question.
And I was just thinking, remember that.
Tell that to that friend that needs it.
Remember the 6 dimensions
Yes.
of psychological love it. Yeah, no, but thank you. It was brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.